right, and we are live for another edition of our GenEd and ProfEd discussion. And I'd like to welcome you all, especially sa ating mga first-timers. No? Marami sa inyo dito yung nag-chat na first time nila makapanood ng live stream ng Gurong Pinoy. So we welcome you po to our online classroom. Still, this is GenEd and ProfEd discussion, 15 items for GenEd, another 15 items for ProfEd. I'd like you to please be ready with your notebook and also your pen because we are going to start in a few minutes. So again, we welcome all of you. We are also live on Facebook right now. Good evening po sa lahat ng mga tao na nandyan sa ating mga followers, likers na nandyan sa Facebook. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure that you go also to YouTube after this if you can. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, Gurong Pinoy, because our next live streams po would just be watched through our YouTube channel na Gurong Pinoy. So again, good evening po sa inyong lahat na nandyan sa Pilipinas and good morning naman po dito sa South Carolina, USA. Okay, so again, our exclusive materials, lahat po ng i-discuss natin today will go straight to our growers. Grow po, again, is Gurong Pinoy Review Online Work Group. This is our exclusive FB group. And again, for you to join this is very easy, very cheap. It's only 250 pesos. You can pay it through Palawan, Cebuano, and ML. All the details are there in our slide. Okay, now again, the 250 offer is only good until the end of this month. So make sure that you join. And I'm not only going to share the questions that I'm discussing here in our live stream, but I'm also trying to share more materials that I can share with all the growers that we have. So I've already mentioned that we have a lot of materials that are ready for our growers to use because we have been catering let takers for several years already. You've just seen the list of our passers from our previous programs. Okay, so this is StudyLink Gurong Pinoy, and we welcome you to another live stream for GenEd ProfEd. We hope that you enjoy and we hope that you learn a lot from us tonight. Okay, so we start with our GenEd question number 1. Again, make sure that you write your answer, you check your work. Okay, question number 1. Who is the... Okay, wait lang. There is something wrong with our slides. Meron na kayong hint dito. Okay, so we proceed. All right, now again, question number 1. Who is the famous scientist who discovered aniline dyes? Okay, is it Henry Moseley, William Henry Perkin, Joseph Presley, or J.J. Thomson? Good evening, Ma'am Cherry, first-timer. Welcome po. Those of you who are commenting through Facebook, I cannot see your comments po because I'm looking at the comments in our live stream. So again, make sure that you go to YouTube later and you hit the subscribe button and also hit your the bell button for all notifications because the next live streams would all be in YouTube. Okay, now a lot of you are already answering, and many of you have answered B, C, A. Ma'am Maylin, good afternoon. Saan po si Ma'am Maylin? Hindi siya good evening or good morning. She said good afternoon. Some of our let takers are also in other countries. So we also welcome those of you who are our international students. Okay, so sir, is this Sir RB or Ma'am RB? Ma'am RB said B, sure po. And that is the correct answer. Okay, so letter B, William Henry Perkin is the correct answer for question number 1. He is the physician who discovered aniline dyes. Now, dyes are very important whenever we watch or we examine our specimens under the microscope. Okay, so William Henry Perkin po, yung naka-discover ng aniline dyes. Now, what about the rest of the people that we have here? Okay, mali pa tayo kanina, no? Hindi natin nailagay itong animation natin. All right, letter A, Henry Moseley he discovered, or he was the one who told us that element's identity is uniquely determined by the number of protons. Now remember that a proton is the positively charged subatomic particle. We've already discussed this in our previous live streams. Remember, we said your atom, which is the basic unit of matter, is made up of 3 subatomic particles, the proton, the electrons, and the neutrons. Protons po, that's the positively charged subatomic particle. You have the electron, which is negatively charged. And you also have the neutron, which is neutral. Okay, so sinabi ni Henry Moseley, the number of protons determine the identity of an element. Yan po yung contribution ni Henry Moseley in the world of science. Now, if you're not familiar with our subatomic particles, with all this stuff, make sure that you go back to our live streams, the previous live streams that we've had. We have a playlist that's titled GenEd and ProfEd live streams. All of the live streams that we have are included in that playlist. So make sure that you go back to all the playlists that we have, especially for GenEd, ProfEd live stream. We also have a separate GenEd playlist only. We also have a separate ProfEd playlist only, okay? So make sure that you go back to all of our previous videos. Now, letter C naman, Joseph Priestley was the one who discovered oxygen. Now, we know that oxygen, specifically O2, which is oxygen gas, it is very important for us humans and all the animals because we'll use this for breathing, okay? J.J. Thomson, letter D, is the one who discovered electrons, which is, again, one of the subatomic particles. Electrons naman is negatively charged, okay? So number 1, that's letter B, William Henry Perkin. Make sure that you take note of the things, of all the things that I'm discussing because all this are coming out in the lab. Okay, now we go to number 2. What is an instrument for measuring humidity? Is it letter A, hygrometer, letter B, hydrometer, letter C, eudiometer, or letter D, hydrogen bubble chambers? Good evening, Ma'am Josel or Sir Josel, watching from Cagayan. Ma'am Checky, magandang gabi po. Sir Simeon, first timer. Okay, hindi pa familiar yung name ni Sir Simeon. Good evening po. Welcome to our live stream. Make sure that you subscribe, hit that bell button. Ma'am Maylene from Pangasinan, good evening po. Ma'am Maylene is from Abu Dhabi. That's why good afternoon. Okay, good afternoon po sa lahat ng mga taga Abu Dhabi. Okay, so sabi ni Sir Napoleon, letter A, hula na naman. Okay? All right, the correct answer for this one, number 2, tama ang hula ni Sir Napoleon. It is hygrometer. Okay, so hygrometer is the weather instrument that we use for measuring humidity. Now, what about the rest of the things that we have here? Letter B po, hydrometer measures relative density or specific gravity of liquids. Your eudiometer, letter C, measures the change in volume of a gas mixture after a chemical or a physical change. Okay, so yung hydrogen bubble chambers po, hindi siya nag-measure ng anything. It's just a chamber. So para lamang siyang tubo kung saan nagko-collect lahat ng hydrogen bubble. Okay, so the correct answer for this one is letter A. For number 2, letter A, tama po ang naging guess ni Sir Napoleon. It's hygrometer. Now, what are the other common weather instruments that we have that are coming out in the lab? Again, you know, in our previous live stream, lumabas na po yung thermometer. Thermometer measures temperature. If you are trying to measure the amount of rain, then you are going to be using your rain gauge. Gauge po is spelled as G-A-U-G-E. Okay, so rain gauge for the amount of precipitation or the amount of rain. Now, if you are trying to know the direction of the wind, okay, kung saan ba nanggagaling yung wind, is it coming from the northeast, the south, whatever, it is the weather instrument that you will be using would be your wind vane, okay? So wind vane for the direction of wind. Wind speed naman, you will be using anemometer, okay? So anemometer is A-N-E-M-O-M-E-T-E-R, okay? Anemometer for wind speed. Now, for air pressure, you will be using barometer, okay? Barometer, B-A-R-O-T-E-R, M-E-T-E-R, that would be for air pressure, okay? So that's, those are the common weather instruments that are coming out in the LET. But for number 2, the correct answer here would be letter A. Okay, now we go to number 3. Question number 3. All right, people are encouraged to take supplements so that they can grow 3 to 5 inches more even after the age of 25. Letter A, this is not possible because there is a definite pattern of growth of bones and muscles. This is true because the ad would not have been allowed if it isn't. This is not true because there are no specific individuals mentioned. Or this is true because of the protein content. What do you think is the correct answer for number 3? Marichu Agustin, good evening. Sir CK, welcome back. Let's share all. Let's all support her 100%. Thank you so much po for all your support. One way that you can support Gurong Pinoy is, of course, not to skip ads and not to abandon our videos. That means watch the video from start until the end. If you can also please like our Facebook page, Gurong Pinoy, and also please share our videos to your friends, those of your friends who are also going to take the LET. If you have some other FB groups, then also please share our videos. Ano kaya yung tamang sagot sa number 3? This is in the category science. Okay, people are encouraged to take supplements so that they can grow 3 to 5 inches more even after the age of 25. In this case po, the correct answer, a lot of you are trying to answer letter A, and that is the correct choice. This is not possible because we all know that there is a definite pattern of growth. Wala na pong nag-grow masyado after the age of 25. Okay, kung meron man, that's already a very rare case. Okay, so bone growth po would usually happen from 12 to 22 years old. Okay, so the correct answer for number 3 would be letter A. Watching from Bohol, Ma'am Farm. Okay, good evening po. Now we go to number 4. The Iron Law of Wages is authored by, this is in the category of social studies. So I hope the social science majors know this. Okay, sino kaya yung tamang sagot sa number 4? Alfred Marshall, David Ricardo, Adam Smith, or Thomas Malthus? Now, again, many of you are also sending us a private message asking for the majorship. Inaayos pa lamang po natin yung inyong majorship. So, again, grow, the offer grow. The 250 pesos for all the exclusive materials that we have is only for GenEd and ProfEd. For the majorship, we are going to be fixing everything, finalizing everything. We are inviting, of course, all the experts in your field because, of course, hindi naman ako expert sa lahat ng inyong mga majors. I cannot teach the concepts, for example, of TLE in-depth or social studies in-depth because my major is biological sciences. Okay, so biology major po ako. And so I cannot handle the rest of your majors. So what we are going to do is we are trying to contact all the previous lectures that we have when we still had our review center. And we will be asking them to make videos for your discussion. Okay, so hintay-hintay lamang po tayo for your for your majorship. Ma'am Farm, for number 1 po, it's letter B. Letter B po yung answer for number 1. Okay, now number 4, you have different answers for number 4, but the correct answer here would be letter B, David Ricardo. Okay, so David Ricardo is the author of the Iron Law of Wages. Now, before I discuss David Ricardo's Iron Law of Wages, let us first go over the different people that we have here. Letter A mo po si Alfred Marshall. He is one of the most influential economists, and his book, very famous, it's titled Principles of Economics, explain the ideas of supply and demand, marginal utility, and costs of production. Lahat po ng mga napag-aralan natin sa social studies natin, specifically economics. Okay, so siya po yung nagbigay sa atin ng mga ideas na yan, supply and demand, marginal utility, and costs of production. reproduction. That is by Sir Alfred Marshall. Now, letter C, Adam Smith. He is known as the father of economics, also known as the father of capitalism. Okay, so also Adam Smith is very famous in economics. Now, letter D naman, Thomas Malthus is best known for his theory that population growth will always tend to outrun the food supply and that betterment of humankind is impossible without stern limits on reproduction. So sinabi naman ni Thomas Malthus, dapat may striktong paglilimit sa reproduction or sa pagpapadami ng mga anak dahil pag hindi strict yung limit natin ay hindi magkakaroon ng betterment ng humankind dahil palaging mas mag-e-exceed ang number of people sa ating food supply. Okay, so that's also known as the Malthusian theory. Malthusian theory po yan. That is based on the name of Thomas Malthus. Okay, now what about David Ricardo? Sinabi natin siya yung tamang sagot. The Iron Law of Wages. So ito pong sinabi ni David Ricardo. Sabi niya, he believed that workers should only be paid enough to survive. Dahil, sabi ni David Ricardo, tamang-tama lang dapat yung nagiging sahod. Tamang-tama lang dapat yung nagiging sweldo. Minimum cost of living lang dapat. Because if you give them more salary, they will only have more children. Because of more children, there's going to be an increase in the number of people that we have, and therefore they can become poor again and they can all die off from starvation. So sabi niya, Iron Law of Wages, dapat minimum lamang yung binibigay na salary sa ating mga trabahante. Okay? Minimum lamang yung binibigay na salary to all the workers that we have. So that's according to David Ricardo, Iron Law of Wages. Okay? So that's letter B for number 4. Now we go to number 5. Okay, category math. Multiply the quantity is 3 minus 2x and the quantity or by the quantity 3 plus 2x. Okay, I'm going to give you a few minutes to do the computation. Ano kaya ang tamang sagot sa question number 5? Okay, nanghuhula na naman kayo, ha? Okay, mahirap talaga GenEd. Sabi ko sa inyo, mas mahirap yung GenEd kaysa sa ProfEd. Good evening, Ma'am Jeneline De La Cruz, first timer, welcome po. Sabi ni Ma'am Marites, kailan pa kaya kita matutunan mahalin math? Okay, now in solving this, we can use your mnemonics na FOIL. So that's the meaning of FOIL here would be first. Okay, we multiply the first terms first, then the outer terms, then we multiply the inner terms, then the last terms. Okay, so that's FOIL. Again, that's first, outer, inner, then last. Okay, so again, we multiply the first terms first. Ito po muna, yung parehong first terms nila. So that's 3 multiplied by 3. Okay, so that means, yes, the FOIL method, tama yung sabi ni Sir Game Aspiring. No? So 3 multiplied by 3, that give us 9. Okay, then we multiply the outer terms. The outer terms here would be 3 and positive 2x. Okay, so 3 multiplied by positive 2x, that would give us positive 6x. Okay, then the next one would be letter I, that's the inner terms. Okay, so the inner values that we have, that would be negative 2x. Don't forget the negative sign here. So that's negative 2x multiplied by 3. So the answer there would be negative 6x. Remember that when you are multiplying a negative sign and a positive sign, that would give us negative sign in our answer. So that's negative 6x. Then the last part that we have is we multiply the last terms. Okay, so you have negative 2x multiplied by positive 2x. And the correct answer, or the answer here, would be negative 4x squared. Okay, so that's negative 4x squared. Now, we combine like terms. 9, since wala naman ibang whole number dito without the variables, no? So 9 pa rin siya. And the positive 6x minus 6x, we can just eliminate this because that's equal to 0. Okay? So the correct answer would be 9 minus 4x squared, and that is letter A. Okay? So letter A po ang tamang sagot sa question number 5 natin. Okay? That's question number 5, letter A. Okay, now we go to number 6. Okay, number 6 na po tayo. Question number 6. Okay, another math problem. Simplify the following equations. Okay, simplify the following. Go ahead po. Try to solve muna before I give you the correct answer. Okay, try po muna ninyong isolve before we go to our discussion. Ma'am Razel Tagaygayan, I see you on Facebook. Thank you so much po for joining our live stream today. Ma'am Razel used to be our student. Okay, so let passer na si Ma'am Razel, no? Shout out sa aking friend na Cindy Lou and si Ms. Elizabeth Bores. Again, for those of you who are watching us live on Facebook right now, make sure that you go to our YouTube channel because, of course, the rest of our live streams po, the next live streams will just be in our YouTube channel. Okay, so preview lamang po itong nasa Facebook natin. This is just patikim, no? So meron lamang po tayong live stream ngayon. The past live stream, the last live stream that we had, we were also on Facebook. But after this, we are only going to be found on YouTube. So make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the bell button, and also please like our Facebook page. Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot sa question number 6? Okay, balikan ko lamang po yung ating yung YouTube. Okay, sabi ni Ma'am Maylene, di ko alam kung paano ko sisimulan. Okay lang po yan. At least natututo tayo. Next time po, alam na ninyo kung anong dapat gawin. Okay, so marami sa inyo nag-answer letter D. Let's try to check. Okay, now you know that tingnan niyo po itong first expression natin na nandito. You know that in multiplication, meron tayong tinatawag na distributive property. No? So unang-unang gagawin natin dito, i-distribute natin itong 2. Okay, sa ating expression na nasa parenthesis. So that's 2 multiplied by 3r. 2 multiplied by 3r, and that would give us 6r. Okay, so 6r po yan. And then we also distribute, or we also multiply 2 by negative 7t. Okay, so 2 multiplied by negative 7t, that would give us negative 14t. Okay, so that's negative 14t. Now we go to the next part of our equation here. We have negative 5, distribute din po natin ito. Okay, so we have negative 5 multiplied by 2r, by positive 2r, and that would give us negative 10r. Then we have negative 5 multiplying this to positive 3t, that would give us negative 15t. Okay, so that's negative 15t. And the last part that we have here, we can just remove the parentheses that we have, that's plus 5r plus t. We cannot combine any of those because, of course, the letters that they have, the variables that they have, are not the same. Okay, now we combine like terms. When you say combining like terms po, titingnan natin yung mga magkakaparehas ng letra. Ayan, 6R, meron din negative 10R, lahat ng R's po muna. At itong positive 5R. Okay, so we combine those. So 6 minus 10, we know 6 minus 10, that would be negative 4. Okay, so that's minus 4. And you have plus 5. Okay, so negative 4 plus 5, that would give us just R. Okay, so remaining na lang po natin would be R. 1R or just R alone. Then we go to your T. You have negative 14T, negative 15T, and you have plus T here. Okay, so that would give us negative 14 minus 15, that's negative 29, plus T, that would give us minus 28. Okay, minus 28T. So then the correct answer would be R minus 28T, or that would be letter D. Okay, so letter D po ang tamang sagot sa number 6. Okay, so letter D is the correct answer again for number 6. All right, now we go to question number 7. Okay, there are 18 Tagalog maids and 12 Visayan maids serving in a hotel. Give the ratio of the Tagalog to the entire group and express it in simple terms. Welcome back po, Ma'am Nora. We are so glad nakahabol po kayo. We are still at question number 7 for GenEd. Good evening, Ma'am Faye, watching from Bicol. Good evening po. Okay, go ahead and try to solve question number 7 first. Again, reminder to all those who are watching on Facebook, we are live on Facebook tonight, also on YouTube, as in our YouTube channel, Gurung Pinoy. Our next live streams po will just be in our YouTube channel, Gurung Pinoy. So make sure that you also go to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure that you hit that bell button for all notifications so that you are going to be notified whenever we come up with our new videos, especially our live streams. Ma'am Wilma, I see you in Facebook. Alright, ano kaya yung tamang sagot sa question number 7 natin? Okay, we are at number 7. This is still a math question. Okay, there are 18 Tagalog maids and 12 Visayan maids serving in a hotel. Give the ratio of the Tagalog to the entire group and express it in simple terms. Okay, now again, meron tayong 18 Tagalog maids at meron tayong 12 Visayan maids. And we are asked to give the ratio of the Tagalog only to the entire group. So, unang-una pong ating gagawin is we get the total ratio. Okay, total ratio natin would be 18, or total number of people natin would be 18 plus 12. Okay, so 18 plus 12, that will give us 30. So ito po yung total number of people natin. Meron tayong 30 maids. Okay, now we are going to get the ratio of your Tagalog maids to the entire number, okay, to the entire group. So that would be 18 out of 30, or that would be 3/5. Paano natin nakuha yung 3/5? 18 and 30 po are both divisible by 6. So if you are going to divide both of them by 6, 18 divided by 6 would be 3, and 30 divided by 6 would be 5. Okay, so that gives us the correct answer of 3 out of 5, or 3/5, and that's question, or that's choice letter D. Okay, choice D is the correct answer. All right, now we go to number 8. The Philippine National Bank source and has used a symbol for its advertisement as. Okay, so this is in social studies, general information. The hawk, the pigeon, the eagle, the parrot. Ano kaya yung tamang sagot sa number 8? What is the symbol of the Philippine National Bank? Okay, the correct answer for this one would be letter C, the eagle. In its logo, meron pong dalawang animals dito. That's the eagle and the lion. But of course, wala namang lion dyan sa ating choice. The only choice that we have would be letter C, the eagle, and that's the correct answer. Now, the PNB, we all know that this has already been privatized, and we know that the owner now is the group of Lucio Tan. Okay, so ipagmamayari na po ito ng Lucio Tan Group. Your PNB is now owned by Lucio Tan Group. So the correct answer for number 8, again, that's letter C, the eagle. Now we go to number 9. There have been recent bank runs and bank closures. How much of the deposits are covered for reimbursement by the Philippine Deposit Insurance Corporation or PDIC? If merong bangko na i-close, merong bangko na bankrupt, at meron kang deposito sa bangko na yon. For example, nag-deposit ka ng 2 million in that bank. How much of your deposit would be reimbursed by the PDIC or the Philippine Deposit Insurance Corporation? Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot sa number 9? This is social studies, general information. Your choices are 100,000, 100 million, 500,000, sorry, or 2 million. Okay, a lot of you are choosing letter A. Marami sa inyo letter A yung sagot for number 9. All right, now the Philippine Deposit Insurance Corporation or PDIC, take note of this. This was established on June 22nd, 1963 by RA 3591. At layon po nito, this is to provide depositor protection and help maintain stability in the financial system by providing permanent and continuing deposit insurance up to the maximum deposit insurance coverage of 500,000 pesos per depositor per bank. So the correct answer is letter C. Okay, so correct answer po is letter C, 500,000. So that means pag meron kang deposit na 2 million in that certain bank and that certain bank declared bankruptcy, ang maibabalik lamang po sa inyo ay 500,000. Okay, so masakit po mawalan ng pera, ng salapi. So kung maaari, yung sinasabi nga po nila, don't put all of your eggs in one bag or in one box. Okay, so yung gagawin po ninyo, kung meron kayong 2 million, divide nyo po yan, gusto nyo i-deposit, divide nyo po yan or i-deposit nyo po yan sa 4 na magkakaibang bangko. Dahil pag na-bankrupt po yung bank, you are only going to be reimbursed with 500,000. Okay, so 500,000 lamang po ang marireimburse. Now, before, the amount was just 250,000. Ngayon, medyo nag-increase na. It's already 500,000. Okay, so that's letter C. Now we go to number 10. If a church wants to be truly effective in promoting moral and spiritual values, it should. Letter A, set the example with regards to the implementation of justice. Letter B, stand condemned if it fails to live by its preaching. Letter C, show in deeds what it preaches by mouth. Or letter D, study and pronounce the mission of preaching. What do you think is the correct answer for number 10? Okay, nasa number 10 na po tayo. Ano kaya yung tamang sagot sa number 10? Okay, what do you think is the correct answer for question number 10? Again, if a church wants to be truly effective in promoting moral and spiritual values, it should. Question number 10, the correct answer here would be letter C, to show in deeds what it preaches by mouth. Okay, so ibig sabihin, they should practice what they're preaching. Lahat ng sinasabi ng ating pare, dapat ginagawa din nila. Okay, so dapat yung pare natin ay busilak din. Yung mga pare natin, yung mga fathers natin, pare na nasa church or maaaring pastor na nasa ibang congregations, no, ay dapat kung anong sinasabi nila, kung anong lumalabas sa mouth nila, ipinapractice din nila, pinapakita din nila na talagang ginagawa nila. Hindi yung puro preach lang, pero sila din naman ay nagkakasala o sila din naman ay nagva-violate sa mga sinasabi nila, yung mga preaching nila sa ating church. Okay, so the correct answer would be for number 10, that's letter C. Now we go to number 11. Every day, there are reported vehicular accidents. What preventive measure is done to identify drivers who take drugs? Okay, so this is still general information, social studies still. What do you think is the answer for number 11? Ano kaya yung tamang sagot sa number 11? Drivers are given road tests. Drivers are exempted from psychological tests. Drivers' licenses are released after a drug test clearance. Drivers' license are released after clearance from a barangay chairman. Okay, number 11, I think it's pretty obvious. It's very easy. This is driver's licenses are released after a drug test clearance. Sa ngayon ba, pag kumuha kayo ng driver's license, meron pa rin drug test? Because I know before, when I was still in the Philippines before, kinuha na nila, hindi na must, no, yung pagkakaroon ng drug test clearance. I'm not sure kung ibinalik ito. Okay, so letter C is the correct answer. Ito naman dapat yung tama para ma-avoid natin yung mga vehicular accidents mula sa pagiging high ng mga drivers, dapat may drug test muna. Okay, so there should be drug test clearance. Okay, so the correct answer for number 11 would be letter C. Number 12, the Filipino family believes that tuberculosis is inherited. Namamana ang TB. In fact, the cause is traced to letter A, spitting everywhere by active TB patients. Letter B, lack of vitamin C. Letter C, lack of vitamin A. Or letter D, poor hygiene. Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot sa number 12? Ano nga ba yung totoong cause ng spread ng TB? Okay, iba-iba din yung sagot nyo. So there's D, there's A. All right, so again, the Filipino family believes that TB is inherited. In fact, it can be traced to. Okay, ano nga ba yung spread ng TB? Paano nga ba nagsispread itong TB, no? And we know it's not really because of inheritance, no? Hindi siya namamana, but it is because of the spitting everywhere by active TB patients. So, dapat, pag meron kang TB, ay hindi ka dura ng dura kahit saan. Ito din yung nangyayari ngayon sa ating COVID, no? So, dapat you should be covering your mouth when you're sneezing, when you're coughing. You should be wearing mask, of course. Ngayon, required na tayo na mag-mask. Kahit dito, required na po kaming mag-mask. If you are caught not wearing mask, you are required to pay a fine of $50. Okay, so it's letter A. Letter A po for question number 12. Now we go to number 13. One good rule to avoid intestinal diseases is sleep under mosquito nets, wash your feet before going to bed, wash your hands before eating, or avoid insect bites. Ano kaya yung tamang sagot sa 13? One good rule to avoid intestinal diseases para hindi ka magkabulate is, okay, a lot of you are choosing letter C, and of course, that's pretty obvious. That's the correct answer. Wash your hands before eating. Okay, especially sa ating mga anak, pag ang mga anak natin ay naglaro sa buhangin, dapat ay mag-wash muna ng hands before eating. But now, of course, the rule is to wash your hands frequently, lalong-lalo na because of COVID-19. Okay, so hugas lagi ng kamay, especially after you've used the bathroom, or kahit na meron kayong tinouch na any surface, hugas lagi ng kamay. Okay, now we go to question number 14. What goods are increasingly demanded when income increases? Okay, so this is in the category of economics, still social studies, social science. Is it substitute goods, normal goods, luxury goods, inferior goods? What goods are increasingly demanded when income increases? Okay, iba-iba na yung inyong tamang inyong sagot sa number 14. All right, now let's go over the different stuff that we have here. Explain ko lamang po yung lahat ng goods na meron tayo dito. The first one is substitute good. This can be used in place of another. Example, gusto mong uminom ng soft drink, and pag umiinom ka ng soft drink, gusto mo talaga yung Coca-Cola, for example. Gusto mo ng Coke. Pero walang Coke na available, kunwari, sa tindahan or sa sari-sari store na nasa gilid ng bahay nyo, walang available na Coke. Hindi nakapag-deliver yung Coke. And so, what you got instead is Pepsi. So, yung binili mo ay Pepsi. Okay? So, that means Pepsi is a substitute good for Coke. Okay? Substitute good, it can be used in place of another. It can be used in place of another. So, that's a substitute good. Now, yung normal good mo naman, these are called necessary good. The level of demand for the good in relation to wage increases or declines. Okay, so the level of demand for this increases, or this is in relation to wage as it increase or decline. So pag nag-increase yung wage mo, nag-i-increase din yung demand mo for this type of goods. Pag nag-decrease yung wage mo, nag-decrease din yung demand mo. For example, usually, nagpupunta ka ng grocery, minsan bibili ka ng isang bar ng tsokolate. Hindi ka masyadong bumibili ng Toblerone, for example, sa grocery kasi nga mahal. Okay? Or hindi ka, minsan pag bumili ka ng grocery mo, bibili ka ng Spam, gusto mong kumain ng Spam, bibili ka lamang ng isa. Okay? With your salary. Now, nang nag-increase yung salary mo, for example, may salary increase ka ng 1,000, instead na isa lamang yung kinuha mong Toblerone, isa lamang kinuha mo yung na Spam, nag-increase ka din ngayon. Nagbigay ka ng, or kumuha ka ng dalawang lata na ng Spam, or 3 lata na ng Spam, or 2 block na ng tsokolate mong Toblerone. Okay? So that's normal good. The demand would be in proportion to the increase or decrease of your salary. Now, what about luxury goods? Inferior goods muna tayo. Goods that see their demand drop as consumers' incomes rises. Yung inferior goods mo naman, this is the opposite of your normal good. Ito namang inferior goods mo, the demand for this drops as your income rises. For example, gustong-gusto mong kumain ng tsokolate, pero noon, nang wala ka pang masyadong income, hindi pa malaki yung sahod mo, yung kinukuha mo lamang ay yung Goya. For example, the cheaper ones, the cheaper brands of chocolate. Okay, so cheaper brands of chocolate lamang, Goya, or ano pa ba yung local brands lamang. Pero ngayong nag-increase na yung salary mo, sabi dito sa inferior goods mo, their demand drop as the income rise. Okay? So, nag-increase yung salary mo, yung demand mo for this inferior good ay nag-drop dahil mas afford mo na yung mas mahal. Okay? So, mas afford mo na tong Toblerone, so hindi mo na bibilhin ngayon yung Goya kasi nga, afford mo na yung Toblerone na superior good. Okay? So, for your inferior goods, the demands for this would drop as your income would rise. Now, prestige goods mo naman, your luxury goods, people spend a greater proportion of their income on luxury goods as their income rises. Dito naman, yung income mo, or greater proportion ng income mo, ang sinispend mo. So examples of your luxury goods will be vacation, okay? So bakasyon, mamahaling sasakyan. So mas malaking portion na ng income mo yung sinispend mo sa luxury goods, okay? So that's your luxury good. Now going back to your question here, sabi dito, increasingly demanded. Based on your questions here, saan nga bang klase ng good tayo yung demand natin ay nag-i-increase habang nag-i-increase din yung ating income? And so the correct answer here would be letter B, normal goods. Okay, letter B po, normal goods is the correct answer. Okay, so sure na si Sir Loreto. Normal goods, the correct answer. Okay, again, substitute goods, pinipili mo siya kesa sa another thing. Hindi mo choice, wala ka lamang ibang pagpipilian. Yung inferior goods naman, pinipili mo siya dahil cheaper siya. Okay, so cheaper siya. Luxury goods mo naman, ito yung mas malaking parte ng income mo yung ginugugol mo dito sa bakasyon, mamahaling sasakyan, yung magandang bahay, condominium. Okay, so these are some luxury goods. Normal goods, pag nag-increase yung income mo, nag-i-increase din yung pagbili mo sa iyong normal goods. Okay, so the correct answer would be letter B for number 14. Now, before I give you number 15, I'd like you to please send me your scores. Out of 15, ilan po yung tamang sagot nyo? Sir George, welcome po. Okay lang po pag na-late. Importante po nakahabol tayo. Good evening, Ma'am Alexis Cervantes. Okay lang po yan, Ma'am Jessica. Answer lang po ng answer para po ma-improve ang ating score. Ma'am Rai Rose, okay lang po yan. Sa inyong lahat na hindi pa nakakakuha ng 9, okay, 9 would be our 60%. Balik lang po ng balik sa ating live stream para po mag-improve ang inyong scores. Ito mga nakikita kong medyo matataas na yung score, ito yung mga parokyano na natin. Okay, Sir Roger Mark, hindi siya nakapag-start, no? Sa number 8 lang siya nag-start. Okay, Sir Napoleon, honest score, it's okay po. Of course, mag-i-improve tayo habang tumatagal. Okay, now we go to question number 15, the last question, last item for our GenEd today. Okay, this is still in the category math. A room is 10 meters by 7 meters. There is a 7.5 meters by 5 meters carpet in the middle. What percent of the room is uncovered? Okay, this is still math. Ano kaya ang tamang sagot sa number 15? Last question, math. Okay, I'm going to give you a few minutes to answer that on your own. Some more answers for question number 15, last question for GenEd today. What do you think is the correct answer for question 15? Okay, so iba-iba yung sagot nyo, no? A lot of you are answering letter A, may B, may C, hula lang. All right, now going back to our question here. A room is 10 meters by 7 meters. Yung buong sukat ng room is 10 meters by 7 meters. There is a carpet in the middle. Ang sukat naman ng carpet is 7.5 by 5 meters. What percent of the room is uncovered? So yung una-una po natin gagawin ay kukunin natin yung difference between the complete area ng room at yung area ng carpet para makuha natin yung area ng uncovered na space sa iyong room. So what we do is we multiply 10 by 7 meters. Okay, so that's the area of the entire room. And we subtract 7.5 by 5, which is the area of your carpet. Okay, so that's the area of the carpet. That would give us 70 meters minus 37.5 meters. And so, the area uncovered, ito po yung area na uncovered, that should be meters squared to dapat. Okay, so that should be squared. Okay, this should be squared because we multiplied meter by meter. Okay, so that's 32.5 meters squared or squared meters. Now, the question for us would be the percentage. Okay, ano yung percent ng room which is uncovered? So that means what percent of the room of 70 squared meters is 32.5 squared meters. Okay, so what percentage of 70 squared meters is 32.5 squared meters? And so that means your math problem would be blank percent times 70. Sinabi ko sa inyo, in math, the term of means multiply. Okay, so we multiply 70 by the unknown here, and the term is in math means equal. Okay, equals 32.5. Okay, so that's blank percent times 70 equals 32.5. Now, we want to eliminate 70 at this side here para ma-isolate natin itong ating unknown. So what we do is we divide both sides by 70. I-divide po natin both sides ng 70 because the process here, the operation between the unknown and 70 here is multiply. Okay? So para makuha natin itong 70, malipat natin siya sa kabila, we divide both sides by 70. So that means the blank percent or the percentage should be 32.5 divided by 70. So 32.5 divided by 70, that would give us 0.464, or getting the percentage, we only move the decimal point 2 times to the right. So the correct answer would be letter A, 46.4%. Okay, so 46.4% is the correct answer for number 15. So sabi ni Sir Napoleon, mas nagli-learn ako pag nagkakamali compared sa pag nagtsamba. Okay, that's really true. Okay, so one of the best ways for us to learn is to make mistakes. Kahit sa buhay, di ba? When we make mistakes, we learn. Okay, so sabi nga nila, fall 7 times, rise 8 times. Okay, so every time that you fall, just bawi lang. Just lift yourself up, bawi, okay, and move on. All right, so that ends our Gen Ed. I'm going to give you a few minutes, so 5 minutes. We'll go back by 7:58 for our ProfEd. Okay, and we are back. So we proceed to our ProfEd now. Okay, again, ProfEd would still be 15 items. So just write your numbers there, 1 until 15, in your notebook, and we proceed with question number 1. Okay, in a multiple choice test, keeping the options brief in the correct answer means letter A, inclusion in the item of irrelevant clues, letter B, inclusion of options that are homogeneous, letter C, plausibility and attractiveness of the item, letter D, inclusion in the item of any word that must otherwise repeated in each response. Okay, number 1, ano kaya yung tamang sagot? In a multiple choice test, keeping the options brief in the correct answer means what? What do you think is the correct answer for number 1? Okay, a lot of you are answering D, B. Iba-iba na yung sagot nyo. Okay, you have varied answers for question number 1. Okay, number 1 pa lang kaya tama na or number 1 pa lang kaya sablay na? Let's try to find out. Okay, sabi ng question mo dito, ng item mo, in a multiple choice test, keeping the options brief in the correct answer means, sabi niya, pag meron ka daw multiple choice na test, keeping the options brief in the correct answer, ano nga bang ibig sabihin nito? Ang ibig sabihin po nito ay mas maiksi ang tamang sagot. So kada tamang sagot sa iba-ibang items ay mas maiksi. So maaaring isipin ng bata, basta maiksi, yan na yung tama. Keeping the options brief in the correct answer means inclusion in the item of irrelevant clues. Nagbibigay ka ba ng irrelevant clues? Inclusion of options that are homogeneous. Tama po ito. Dapat po pag gumawa tayo ng multiple choice, if we're making multiple choice test, all of your answers should be homogeneous. For example, your question is about clouds. And so the options dapat should also be the different types of clouds. Hindi ka dapat naglalagay doon ng weather instrument mo. All of your options should be homogeneous, magkakapareho. Plausibility and attractiveness of the item, that's correct. Meaning posibleng totoo or posibleng tama yung option na to. Inclusion in the item of any word that must otherwise repeated in each response. The correct answer, of course, is letter A, inclusion in the item of irrelevant clues. Kada tamang sagot ay brief. Kada tamang sagot ay maiksi. So that means, binibigyan nyo ng irrelevant clue ang isang bata. Nagbibigay ka ng clue. Okay? So hindi siya, yung bata hindi na mag-iisip. Alam na niya na, ito pala yung tamang sagot. Every time na makikita niya na maigsi, yun na yung ipipick na bata bilang tamang sagot. Okay? Now we go to number 2. Which of the different types of tests covers a wide variety of objectives and topics? Saan dito yung type ng test that can cover a wide variety of objectives and topics? True, false, multiple choice, matching type, or letter D, essay? Oh, ayan na naman yung ating pulis, Sir Loreto. Be honest. Ma'am Marites, sabi ko sa inyo, do not change your first choice. Most of the time, the first choice is the correct answer. So if you have no valid reason, don't change your first choice. Alright, saan kaya dito yung makaka-cover ng mas maraming objectives, mas malawak na topics? True, false nyo ba? Multiple choice, matching type, essay. Okay, the correct answer for number 2, pretty obvious, it is multiple choice. Siyempre, pag gumawa ka ng isang multiple choice na test, Lahat ng klase ng topics mo, pwede mong ilagay doon. For example, you're teaching science. Ang multiple choice mo, kunwari, would be for the entire list of topics that you've covered in the first grading period. So, maaaring iba-ibang objectives, maaaring iba-ibang topics. Yung essay kasi, pwede yung essay mo, isang question na naman yung essay, di ba? So, it's not really gonna hit a lot of objectives, a lot of topics. So, ano siya, mas focused siya, mas concentrated yung essay mo. True, false, of course, no, it's just a statement. So, isa lamang yung objective na chine-check niya. Matching type is the same. All right, so for number 2, that's letter B. Now, we go to number 3. Which of the following is the most important purpose for using achievement tests? It is to measure the blank. Ma'am Grace, correct answer for number 1 is A. Which of the following is the most important purpose for using achievement tests? It is to measure the... Why are we giving achievement tests? Now, remember that you have 3 types of tests. Meron po tayong 3 general types of tests. Your diagnostic test, your formative test, and your summative test. Your diagnostic test would measure the strengths and weaknesses of your students. Okay, so diagnostic test, it is made to measure your students' strengths and weaknesses. So usually, yung diagnostic test mo, hindi siya graded, hindi mo siya ginigradean. Okay, so dapat yung pre-test, hindi siya ginigradean. Now, after that, you have your formative test. Your formative test, so yung diagnostic test mo na, yung sinabi ko, diagnostic test muna, it is made or it is given to measure the strengths and weaknesses of your student. It is given prior to your instruction. So before instruction, binibigay yung diagnostic test. Formative tests are given during instruction. So habang nag-i-instruction ka, binibigay mo yung formative test. Your formative test can be really short quizzes. Yung formative test mo, habang hindi pa tapos yung unit mo or habang tinuturo mo pa, nasa span pa ng unit mo, saka ka nagbibigay ka ng iba-ibang formative test. Okay? Now, the last type, your summative test, it is given after the instruction. Okay? So after instruction na siya, your achievement test is an example of your summative test. So what is the purpose of this? Your summative assessment nga, sabi ni Ma'am Jella, summative test, summative assessment. The correct answer would be letter A, quality and quantity of previous learning. Natuto ba sila? Okay, so your achievement test, your summative tests in general would tell you whether you have hit or whether your students have hit the objectives or not, whether you should proceed or you should reteach. Okay, so that's your summative test. The correct answer for number 3 is letter A. Now we go to number 4. Audio-visual aids are used in classroom teaching to help make learning permanent, help clarify important concepts, arouse and sustain students' interest, or letter D, all of these. Yes, Ma'am Maylene, balik muna sa work, ma'am. Balikan nyo na lang po mamaya. Maraming nakatama sa number 3 natin. Maraming sumagot ng letter A. What about number 4? What is the reason why teachers are using audiovisual aids? Bakit may pa-video si ma'am, may model si ma'am, may diagrams? Okay, what's the main reason for this? Okay, the correct answer for number 4 is it to help make learning permanent, to help clarify important concepts, to arouse and sustain students' interest. The correct answer is letter D. All of these are contributions of the audiovisual aids. Kaya napaka-importante din may audiovisual aids ka. In our time right now, it's very easy because we can just use videos. Pwede kang gumamit lamang ng videos from the internet, okay? Or meron ka ng mga iba-ibang interactive games, for example. Okay, no, but before, nung wala pa of course technology, sinasabi nga yung mga ano pa no, Manila paper pa ginagamit, kartulina pa ginagamit. When you were practice teaching, marami tayong ginawa, marami tayong pinudrus na audiovisual aids. But now it's very easy, and we know that the purpose of your audiovisual aids is for all of this, to help make learning permanent, to help clarify important concepts, and to arouse and sustain students' interest. Okay? So, kaway-kaway, sabi ni Sir Loreto, kaway-kaway sa mga nakakuha ng tamang sagot. Okay, number 5. The way a child talks, walks, or manifests gestures may have been learned from models he has been exposed to. This explains the blank learning theory. Is this letter A, affective, letter B, insight, letter C, social, letter D, cognitive? Hindi carry ng signal ni Ma'am Jeneline. Balikan niyo na lang po, ma'am. Ma'am Mercy, thank you po sa muli. Ma'am Mercy is our top donor, no? Palaging nagbibigay ng ayuda si Ma'am Mercy, si Mayora Mercy. Tatawagin na kitang Mayora, ma'am. Okay? Dahil ikaw ay palaging may ayuda. Thank you so much po. So again, kung gusto nyo din matulad kay or gayahin si Mayora Ma'am Mercy, magbigay ng ayuda sa Gurong Pinoy, that's going to be very much appreciated. Okay, mga congressman natin dyan, mga konsehal. Alright, ano kaya yung tamang sagot dito? The way a child talks, walks, or manifests gestures may have been learned from models he has been exposed to. This explains the blank theory. Oh, ayan na si Gob. Governor Miguel, thank you po sa ayuda. Thank you so much, Gob. Oh, so meron na tayong mayora, meron na din tayong gobernador. Okay, so Sir Miguel yung ating gobernador. Thank you so much, Ma'am Mercy Grace, Sir Miguel. God bless po sa inyong dalawa. Thank you for sharing your blessings. Okay, so ano kaya yung tamang sagot sa question number 5? What do you think is the correct answer for question number 5? The way a child talks, walks, or manifests gestures may have been learned from models he has been exposed to. This means letter C, social learning theory. Okay, so this is social learning theory. Tama si Sir Loreto, social learning theory by Albert Bandura. So sabi nga, what children see, children do. Okay, so dapat we should be very cautious when we are around kids, when we are around our students, especially if you're teaching young ones. Dapat cautious kayo, dapat maingat kayo sa kung anong ginagawa nyo dahil napaka-absorbent po nila, nakokopya nila lahat ng mga ang ginagawa nyo, lahat ng mga sinasabi nyo. Now, we go to the different other theories that we have here. Affective domain, this is according to Krathwohl. Remember, we have 3 domains in learning, the cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotor. Yung cognitive po, that's the development of the mind, the development of the brain. Yung psychomotor naman, this is your skills development. Okay, so skills mo naman yung psychomotor. And then, of course, the affective domain, this is with regards to feelings. Now, according to Krathwohl's taxonomy, meron po tayong 5 levels in the affective domain. The lowest would be receiving, then next would be responding, then upper would be valuing, organizing, and the last one will be internalizing or characterizing, okay? Value characterization. So usually, yung ginagamit kong mnemonic dito para mas mabilis nyong maalala would be RR-VOC, okay? Krathwohl's taxonomy, affective domain, just use RR-VOC. So that's receiving, responding, valuing, organizing, and characterization or internalizing. So sa receiving, nakikinig lamang yung bata, hindi pa siya masyadong nagbibigay ng atensyon sa kung anong sinasabi mo sa kanya. Okay? So that's just receiving. Hindi masyado, passive lang yung kanyang attention. Responding, nagre-respond na siya. Okay po ma, gagawin ko po yan, makikinig na po ako sa inyo, hindi na po ako magagamit ng gadget past my sleep time. Okay? For example, now valuing, alam na niya, nakakapag-value na siya on his own, attaching value or attaches value or worth to something. Okay, now when you say organizing, meron na siyang iba-ibang values at nakakapag-prioritize na siya. Ito munang value, munang bagay na to yung uunahin ko. Okay? So that's organizing. Alam na niya na mas importante, for example, kayo, meron naman kayong gustong panooring K-novela, K-drama, maaring hindi pa kayo tapos sa Crash Landing on You or sa Itaewon class or whatever. Pero alam nyo na mas importante na mag-aral kayo para sa coming LET exam nyo, no? Sa LET nyo. So uunahin nyo muna yung pag-aaral, pakikinig sa akin, okay? So punta muna kayo sa live stream. So that's organizing. You know how to prioritize na. And of course, internalizing value characterization, isinasabuhay mo na siya. Okay? Sinasabuhay mo na siya. You are already using it in your daily life. Okay? It's already part of your character. Okay? So these are the different levels of affective domain according to Krathwohl. This was our choice A. Okay? So Krathwohl's affective domain are our VOC, receiving, responding, valuing, organizing, value characterization. Marami pong lumalabas sa LET, nagtatanong dito, about sa affective domain. Usually, yung question is, which among the following is the lowest level in the affective domain? Okay, so of course, the answer would be receiving. Pag wala pong receiving sa choices nyo, of course, the next choice would be responding. Okay, so responding po magiging sagot nyo pag wala pong receiving. Now, yung insightful learning or insight learning theory, this was by Wolfgang Kohler. This is our choice letter B, no? This is by Wolfgang Kohler. He was a psychologist who conducted experiments in which insight learning was observed in animal behavior. So yung ginamit ni Kohler were chimpanzees. Okay, so ito, meron siyang mga apes. Okay, or animals. Tapos nilagyan niya ng food, pagkain na saging, at hinayaan niya yung animal to come up with a solution. So this sinasabi ng insight learning, pag meron kayong nakikita sa cartoons, for example, na merong light bulb na just all of a sudden, meron kang idea, just all of a sudden, nag-pop up sa'yo yung solution, all of a sudden, may light bulb na nakasindi. That's your insight learning theory. Aha learning yung tawag dito. So just all of a sudden, the ape or the animal here figured out that he can use the crates to reach the bananas. Now, dapat po nating maintindihan at dapat po nating maalala, or we have to remember that insight learning is different from trial and error. Iba po siya sa trial and error. Sinabi kasi ni Kohler dito, when you are using insight learning, just in your first try, nakuha mo na kaagad yung sagot. That's insight learning. You have the idea all of a sudden. Hindi siya trial and error. Hindi siya paulit-ulit na nagkakamali ka. Okay, so that's insight learning according to Wolfgang Kohler. Now, we go to number 6. Okay, so again for number 5, yung tamang answer po natin doon was social learning theory. Number 6, which of the following teaching learning processes demonstrates the action learning approach to values education? Letter A, teacher and students debate actively on moral issues. Letter B, students engage in role-playing of different characters. Letter C, future of science groups to discuss different national moral issues. Letter D, students and teachers participate in a community immersion program. Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot sa number 6? So sabi ng question number 6 mo, which of the following teaching learning processes demonstrates action learning approach? Demonstrates action learning approach. Okay, so napaka-importante dito ng term na action. Action learning approach. Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot sa question number 6 natin? Action learning approach to values education, meaning ay napaka-active ng ating learners. Okay, is it the teacher and the students debating? Nag-debate sila. Letter B, nag-role play sila. At letter C mo naman, nag-discuss sila. The correct answer here would be letter D. Nag-participate sila in a community immersion program. This is the most active. Okay, so pumunta talaga sila sa isang community at nagkaroon sila ng immersion program. Okay, so it's letter D po. So again, sa ating ProfEd, for you to get the correct answer, analyze po nating mabuti kada word sa ating ProfEd. Okay? So isang word lamang po yan, sinasabi ko nga sa inyo, minsan nako-confuse kayo, minsan sinasabi nyo, but ma'am, meron tayong question dati, iba yung sagot natin. Kasi kahit na isang word lang yung mag-iba dyan, naiiba na din po yung tamang sagot natin. So himay-himayin po natin yung question natin sa ProfEd. Okay? Madali lang po yung ProfEd. Kasi nga sabi ko sa inyo, usually sa ProfEd, the answer is already in the question. So kung alam lang ninyo paano mag-analyze ng question, alam na ninyo kung ano yung magiging tamang sagot niyo sa inyong ProfEd. Okay? So number 6, that's letter D. Students and teachers participate in a community immersion program. Okay? Number 7. Students and teachers stand at attention during flag ceremonies. School principals assign guards on the street to stop vehicles during the ceremony. How does the public take this practice? Letter A, the flag is for all citizens. It's a symbol of the nation. Letter B, stopping the traffic is not the job of the school. Letter C, only military and policemen should be controlled in this ceremony. Letter D, preschool children should be controlled in this ceremony. Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot sa number 7? All right, a lot of you are choosing letter A, sure na daw, letter A, and that's the correct answer, of course. The flag is for all citizens, is a symbol of the nation. Alam natin na lahat ito ay nangyayari talaga, no? So pag dumadaan ka sa isang school at meron silang flag ceremony, pinapastop talaga ng mga tanod natin, ng mga traffic enforcers, ang ating mga sasakyan. Okay, so that's letter A, and that's correct. All right, now we go to number 8. Teachers yan dapat Teachers of beginning readers use both silent and oral reading techniques. However, most teachers prefer oral work as a medium to introduce the child to the use of the reading process. Which of the following statements justify their choice? So again, sabi, teachers of beginning readers use both silent and oral reading techniques. However, most teachers prefer oral work as a medium to introduce the child to the use of the reading process. Which of the following justify their choice? Bakit na mas piniprefer nila yung oral reading kaysa sa silent reading? Sinabi ko nga sa inyo, silent reading is a skill that we should have learned once we reach grade 3. So dapat by grade 3, alam mo na kung paano ka mag-silent read. Is it letter A, oral expressions add to the child's ability to remember words? Letter B, oral words greatly aids correct enunciation and pronunciation? Letter C, children enjoy expressing themselves orally? Or letter D, all of the above? Okay, lahat halos sa inyo ay nag-choose ng letter D, and that is the correct answer. Okay, so all of the above po ang ating tamang sagot for number 8. That's correct. Number 9, which of the following is the most important factor a teacher should consider in her plans for the enrichment of the student's learning? If you are a teacher, which of the following should you consider when you are making your plan, when you are making your lesson plan? Is it letter A, the ability of the students? Letter B, the characteristic of the students? Letter C, the interests of the students? Or letter D, all of the above? Okay, what do you think is the correct answer for number 9? Anong i-consider mo pag gumagawa ka ng learning plan mo or lesson plan mo? Are you only going to consider the ability of your student, the characteristic of the students, the interest of your students, or all of the above? The correct answer here would still be letter D, all of the above. Lahat naman ito tama. So ability ng students mo, kung akma ba sa kanila yung objective mo, kaya nga meron tayong curriculum map, no, curriculum plan sa DepEd. Characteristic ng students mo, interest ng iyong mga estudyante. That's why very important din i-consider mo yung interest mo, especially interest ng students mo, especially if you are making activities, you're planning for your motivation. Okay? All right, so the correct answer is letter D, all of the above. Number 10. In the beginning of the school year, the guidance counselor invites all students by class to visit her office and fill out an information sheet. It should be made clear to the students that our office is for students, letter A, with or without behavioral problems, with behavioral problems only, who have no assignment, who go there voluntarily. Ano kaya yung tamang sagot natin sa 110? Okay, so sabi sa number 10 mo, question number 10, sa beginning daw ng school year, yung guidance counselor, iniimbita lahat ng students by class, okay, to visit her office, fill out an information sheet. It should be made clear that her office is for, the correct answer here, a lot of you are choosing the right answer, and that's letter A, with or without behavioral problems. Dapat pag yung guidance counselor nyo, yung office ng guidance counselor, i-consider nyo siya or ituring nyo siyang para sa lahat ng estudyante, hindi lamang po sa lahat ng mga estudyante na may problema. Okay, so letter A, with or without behavioral problems. That's correct. Okay, now number 11, checking the daily attendance of students is one of the daily tasks of the teachers that requires much time. In order to maximize her time in the class, what can the teacher do regarding the checking of attendance? Letter A, ask a student to check the attendance. Letter B, don't call the roll every day. Letter C, request for a logbook. Letter D, prepare a seat plan. Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot sa number 11? So, isa daw sa mga nagko-consume ng time, totoo naman, isa sa mga nagko-consume ng time ng teachers is the daily checking of attendance. So, bilang guro, anong gagawin mo? Would you just ask a student to check the attendance? Would you just skip the checking of the attendance as letter B? Don't call the roll every day. Request for a logbook. So, meron na mga pangalan ng mga estudyante, check mo na lang. Or prepare a seat plan. Okay, a lot of you are choosing letter D, and that is correct. So, prepare a seat plan. Dahil pag meron kang seat plan, marami siyang purposes di ba? Maraming purpose yung pagkakaroon ng seat plan mo. It is going to be very easy for you to check dahil titingnan mo lamang yung seat plan mo, titingnan mo lamang yung mga empty chairs. Kung sino yung chair or kung alin sa mga chairs mo yung empty, yan lamang yung imamark mo na absent. Dual purpose pa siya dahil mag-check mo din kung ang isang estudyante nasa tamang upuan siya. So it is also a method, it's also a way to control or to gain classroom management. No? So letter D, that's prepare a seat plan. That's the correct answer. Okay, titingnan na lang ng guro kung sino yung walang tao, kung alin yung chair na walang tao, and that's the absentee. Yan yung absent na estudyante. Number 12, what principles of motivation are considered when teachers avoid punishing students who tried hard but did not succeed? Letter A, provide verbalization of pro-social values. Letter B, provide a supportive environment. Letter C, recognize the special skills of slow learners. Letter D, considerations for cultural and gender differences. Oh, Sir Rolando, saan na po kayo? Nagtuturo na pala si Sir Rolando. Okay, what is the correct answer for number 12? A lot of you are choosing letter C. Okay, we go back to our question here. Sabi ng question number 12 mo, what principles of motivation, principle ng motivation, are considered when teachers avoid punishing students who tried hard but did not succeed? Okay, so the student tried really hard but he or she did not succeed. What principle of motivation is that? Is it to provide verbalization? Nag-verbalize ba yung teacher sa ating situation dito? Hindi naman. Is it to provide a supportive environment? Is it to recognize the special skills of slow learners? May binigay bang special skill ng slow learner dito sa ating tanong? Is it consideration for cultural and gender differences? May binigay bang ibang culture dito or ibang gender dito? Na-state ba na may iba-ibang kultura sila? Wala naman. The correct answer here would be letter B, to provide a supportive environment. Importante po, napaka-importante po na yung bata ay he feels like he belongs in the class. He feels like he is not threatened in the class. He feels like he feels that he is cared for, he is loved, he is appreciated, he is safe in the classroom. So as teachers, we should be providing a supportive environment. So kaya sinasabi sa inyo ng teacher nyo, okay lang yan, sige lang, try harder next time. Okay lang yan kahit hindi ka naging successful ngayon. Alam ko magiging successful ka in your next trial. Kaya ako rin sinasabi sa inyo, di ba? Pag nakikita ko na hindi kayo nakapasa, sinasabi ko sa inyo ay okay lang yan, push lang ng push, balik lang ng balik, makakaya din natin. Okay? So that's principle of motivation, which is providing a supportive environment for your students. All right, number 13. Values education is integrated in all or in the curriculum of all levels. Which of the following supports this statement? Additional classrooms will be needed. There is no need for training of teachers to teach. Values education is stressed in all subjects at all levels. New teachers will be hired. Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot sa 13? Sabi ng question 13 mo, values education is integrated in the curriculum of all levels. Which of the following supports this statement? A lot of you are choosing letter C, and that is the correct answer. Values education is stressed in all subjects at all levels, okay? So that is your correct answer. All right, I think all of you got the correct answer for 13. Question number 14. Good teaching and learning may have some principles in common, yet some may apply more to one than the other. Which of the following applies more to good teaching than to good learning? Okay, sabi dito ng 14 mo, ang good teaching daw and good learning, they have a lot of principles that are in common. Pero saan dito sa choices natin would apply more to good teaching than to good learning? So, ibig sabihin, ginagawa siya ng teachers rather than the learners. Okay, what do you think is the correct answer? Advanced planning of activities and experiences in an interrelated, meaningful manner. Appropriate application of the laws of learning in classroom activities. Being subjects of an integral part of the teaching learning process. Development of desirable study habits. Again, sinasabi o tinatanong ng 14 mo, saan dito applies more to good teaching than to good learning? So yung choice nyo dapat ay ginagawa ng guro, hindi ginagawa ng estudyante. Okay? To good teaching than to good learning. Ano kaya yung tamang sagot sa number 14? Iba-iba na yung sagot nyo. Okay, may C, may A, may B. Alright, so going back to question number 14, sabi niya, which of the following applies more to good teaching? Mas ginagawa siya ng teacher kaysa sa estudyante. Ang teacher ba yung nag-advance planning ng activities and experiences? Ang teacher ba yung nag-a-apply ng laws of learning? So yung teacher yung nagdi-drill, nagre-repeat, nagpa-practice. Yung teacher ba yung subject of an integral part? Yung pag sinabi mong subject, ikaw yung tinetest. Or is it a teacher that develops desirable study habits? The correct answer here would be letter A, advanced planning of activities. Tama si Ma'am Juvie, no? So A yan, advanced planning of activities and experiences in an interrelated, meaningful manner. Hindi naman nag-advanced planning, hindi naman nagpaplano ng activities yung ating mga students. Students natin yung subject natin for integral part of the teaching learning. Sila yung subject natin for learning. Sila yung nagde-develop ng study habits. Okay? Sila din yung gumagawa ng laws of learning natin. Sila yung nagdi-drill, sila yung nagpa-practice, sila yung mga subject nga ng ating teaching learning process or practice. So the correct answer here would be letter A. Again, basahing mabuti po yung inyong question. Huwag po kayong magmadali, huwag po kayong mag-jump kaagad into conclusion, basahin po maigi. Okay, so again, before we proceed to question number 15, the last question for today, please send your scores. So 12, Sir Loreto, good job. You have had a very good improvement, no? Napaka-improve na ni Sir Loreto. Alam na niya. Number, Ma'am Teresa, 10. Okay, 11, Sir Napoleon. 12, Ma'am Jessica, 11, 12, 10. Okay, good job. All right, good job. A lot of you have gotten 60%, more than 60%. 13. Okay, Ma'am Che, hindi siya nakasagot ng number 1. Sayang, no? Okay, but she got 13 out of 14. Okay? All right, good job. So I think a lot of you have already improved, especially those who have been here for a long time already. Lahat ng mga parokyano natin, mga always nandito sa ating classroom, I've seen a lot of improvements. Okay, mahirap talaga yung GenEd. I would agree na mahirap yung GenEd kasi kahit saan kinukuha yung questions natin. All right, so we go to the last question for today. Which of these criteria is the most important in test construction? Which is the most important? Tayo na naman. O, tingnan nyo, may most important. Saan dito yung pinaka-importante habang nagko-construct kayo ng test? Pag kayo ay magko-construct ng test, saan dito yung pinaka-importante? Ma'am Eva, first time to wrong. Good job. Okay, so Sir CK, 22 out of 30. Good job. The STEM should contain the central problem. Items should be congruent with the objectives. A table of specifications should not be prepared. Options should be of almost the same lengths. Which is the most important when you are making your test? Which is the most important part of test construction? Okay. A lot of you are answering letter B. Let's try to find out if that's the correct answer, if a lot of you are correct, or whether if a lot of you are wrong. Okay, so sabi dito sa ating question, last question for the day, which of these criteria is the most important in test construction? Is it letter A, the STEM should contain the central problem? Yung STEM po, ito, yung pinaka-question natin whenever we have your multiple choice. So this is your STEM. The STEM should contain the central problem. Tama naman. The item should be congruent with the objectives. Tama po. A table of specifications should not be prepared. So this makes it wrong. Okay, it should be prepared. Table of specifications. That's the first step in test construction. The options should be of almost the same lengths. Yes, tama po. So hindi dapat na merong mas mahaba, merong mas short. Okay? But which one do you think is the correct answer? The correct answer, sure na, it's letter B. Items should be congruent with the objectives. Ito po yung pinaka-importanting criterion natin whenever we are making tests. So dapat congruent siya. Dapat yung objectives mo at yung test items mo would be on the same level, would be on the same page. Okay? Para sabihin mong na tama, na valid ang naging test mo. All right, so that ends today's discussion. I hope you have learned a lot today, and I hope you come back for more. Again, our schedule for our live streams would be Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 7 p.m. That's going to be through our YouTube channel, Gurong Pinoy. If you haven't done so yet, please like this video. Please put a thumbs up sign, hit the like button. Again, please like this video before we all go out. Before we all sign out. Again, please like this video. Also, please go to our Facebook page and like our Facebook page at Still Gurong Pinoy. So again, our next live stream will be on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 7 p.m. po ang ating schedule for the live streams. If you are watching through Facebook, make sure that you go to YouTube and you subscribe, hit that bell notification, and you choose all notification because the next live streams will just be in our YouTube channel. If you want to be part of our grow, that's the Gurong Pinoy Review Online Exclusive Work Group that's found as an exclusive group in our Facebook, then make sure that you also pay the admission fee. That's just 250. Your details po, lahat ng details kung paano kayo makakapagbayad is found at the beginning of this video. All right. So again, thank you so much. Let's see each other on Tuesday night. Please stay safe. Please stay COVID-free. God bless all of you. And sa muli, ito po ang inyong gurong Pinoy na nagsasabing, all together, malit man na butil na mga kaalaman, ang dulo nito ay malaking kaginhawaan. Maraming salamat po and good night. In the Philippines, good morning from South Carolina, USA. Good night!